My application is getting popular, which is great, but its performance really suffers under heavy load. At peak times, users are just giving up. I need to fix this problem right away, and I need to do it without re-engineering the app. What can I do?
Have you considered Amazon ElastiCache? Amazon ElastiCache is a web service that helps improve the performance of web applications by allowing you to retrieve information from fast, managed, in-memory caches, instead of relying entirely on slower disk-based databases.
How can ElastiCache help my app's performance?
Since memory is orders of magnitude faster than disk, queries served by Amazon ElastiCache will return significantly faster than those that go to the database. Amazon ElastiCache can significantly improve latency and throughput for many read-heavy application workloads, like your app.
You said ElastiCache is a web service, so what does that mean for me?
Amazon ElastiCache automates time-consuming tasks, such as managing persistence, infrastructure provisioning, installing software, and patch management. This frees you up to focus on actually building and improving your application.
Who uses Amazon ElastiCache? For what kind of apps?
People are using it to build all sorts of systems that need to deliver information quickly and easily. For example, Amazon ElastiCache is being used to build distributed data collection systems and handle real-time statistics and metadata associated with mobile applications. Developers of social networking, gaming, media sharing, and analytics apps often use it to implement caching and speed up their apps. Developers handling compute-intensive workloads, such as recommendation engines or complex mathematical calculations, also use it to cache computation results.
Will I have to learn a proprietary API to use Amazon ElastiCache?
No. Amazon ElastiCache supports two common open-source engines, memcached and Redis.
How do I choose between the two?
Applications needing a data structure server will find the Redis engine more useful. With Redis's support for advanced data structures, you can augment your database tier to provide features such as leaderboard, counting, session management, and tracking that are hard to do cost-effectively with relational databases. On the other hand, many customers like memcached simplicity.
How reliable is Amazon ElastiCache?
Automatic failure detection and recovery is built into the service. Amazon ElastiCache also runs on the same highly reliable infrastructure used by other Amazon Web Services.
Is it cost-effective?
With Amazon ElastiCache, there are no minimum fees and no upfront costs. With on-demand nodes, you pay only for the resources you consume by the hour, without any long-term commitments. Moreover, using ElastiCache can actually save you money in cases of high throughput traffic by offloading more expensive database resources.
Can I get some free access to get started?
Absolutely. The Amazon ElastiCache free tier provides a full year of 750 micronode hours per month for free, so you could get started without any cost.
Very cool. How do I take the free training?
Before you get started, let me log into my AWS account and show you how easy it is to create, connect to, and delete a cache cluster in ElastiCache. Anyone can sign up for a free AWS account and use the AWS Management Console. Here you can access AWS Products and Services, such as AWS ElastiCache. Click on the ElastiCache icon on the AWS Management Console homepage to access this service. Click Get Started Now. The Launch Cache Cluster wizard opens. For the Select engine, choose the second icon for Redis, and click Next. In the Specify Cluster Details step, clear the Enable Replication checkbox. In the cluster name field, type mycachecluster. Change the node type to cache.t2.micro, which is eligible for the free tier. For the lab, we will keep the default values for the rest of the fields on this page unchanged. So go ahead and click Next to move on to the Configure Advanced Settings page. We will accept the default settings on this page. In case you have more than one VPC security group, select the default VPC group, and then click Next. On the Review page, click Launch Cache Cluster. The wizard will display the message, Cache Cluster, mycachecluster is being created. To monitor the creation of your cluster, close the wizard. The page shows the list of cache clusters, with the status column of mycachecluster having the value creating. Note, you will need to scroll to the right to see the status column. This value in the status column will change to available when the cluster is ready.
Can I now go ahead and use this cache cluster?
You need to do a bit of work first, including setting up network access. By default, network access to your cache cluster is limited to the user account that was used to create it. Before you can connect to a cache cluster from an Amazon EC2 instance, you must authorize the Amazon EC2 instance to access the cache cluster. Let me show you how easy it is to do so. You can connect to your ElastiCache cluster only from an Amazon EC2 instance that is running in the same Amazon VPC. You will need to grant network ingress to the cache cluster. To do so, sign in to the AWS Management Console and open the Amazon EC2 console at this URL: https://console.aws.amazon.com/EC2/. If the AWS console is already open, you can click on the icon at the top left corner to return to the main console and then click on the EC2 icon. In the navigation list, under Network and Security, click Security Groups. In the list of security groups, click the security group that you specified earlier for your cache cluster. If you are a new ElastiCache user, this security group will be named Default. In the Details pane, click the Inbound tab and do the following. Click the Edit button. In the Type box, choose Custom TCP Rule. In the Port Range field, enter the port number for your cache cluster node. This must be the same number that you specified when you launched the cache cluster. So type in the default port for Redis, 6379. In the Source field, select Anywhere, 0.0.0.0/0, so that any Amazon EC2 instance that you launch within your Amazon VPC can connect to your ElastiCache nodes. Click Save to add the rule. You also need to add another rule to allow SSH connections. To do so, click the Edit button. Click the Add Rule button. In the new row in the Type box, choose SSH. In the Source field, select Anywhere, 0.0.0.0/0, so that you can connect from anywhere to any Amazon EC2 instance that you launch within your Amazon VPC. Click Save to add the rule. When you launch an Amazon EC2 instance into your Amazon VPC, that instance will now be able to connect to your ElastiCache cluster. In order to do so, you must first determine the cache node endpoint. Navigate back to the ElastiCache page of the AWS Management Console. The Cache Clusters page shows the list of your caches. In the Nodes column of the mycachecluster row, click the link One Node. Note the endpoint of your cache node to use in the next step.
And how do I use Redis?
That's easy. Let me first show you how to launch an Amazon EC2 instance in your Amazon VPC. You can then log into this instance and access the ElastiCache cluster. To create an Amazon EC2 instance in your Amazon VPC, sign in to the AWS Management Console and open the Amazon EC2 console at this URL: https://console.aws.amazon.com/EC2/. In the console, click Launch Instance and follow these steps. On the Choose an Amazon Machine Image AMI page, choose the Amazon Linux AMI, and then click Select. On the Choose an Instance Type page, click Next, Configure Instance Details. On the Configure Instance Details page, click Next, Add Storage. On the Add Storage page, click Next, Tag Instance. On the Tag Instance page, type a name for your Amazon EC2 instance, say mycache instance, and then click Next, Configure Security Group. On the Configure Security Group page, click Select an existing security group. Click the name of your Amazon VPC security group, and then click Review and Launch. On the Boot from General Purpose SSD window, click Next. On the Review Instance Launch page, click Launch. A new window appears. Select an existing key pair or create a new key pair. In this window, specify a key pair that you want to use with this instance. Click the checkbox. Note: for information about managing key pairs, go to the Amazon EC2 Getting Started Guide. When you are ready to launch your Amazon EC2 instance, click Launch Instances. To view the state of your instance, click View Instances. You can now use SSH to connect to the Amazon EC2 instance. Note: for instructions about different ways of using SSH to connect to a Linux UNIX instance, go to Connect to your Linux Unix instance in the Amazon EC2 Getting Started Guide. To connect to your Amazon EC2 instance, wait till the instance state changes to running. Select your instance, mycache instance, and then click on Connect. Choose your SSH client. For this demo, we will choose Java SSH Client directly from my browser. Specify the full private key path, including the name of your .pem file, as in this example. Click Launch SSH Client. Before you can interact with your ElastiCache cluster, you will need to install the telnet utility if you haven't already done so. To install telnet and interact with your cache cluster, at the command prompt, issue the following command: sudo yum install telnet. At the confirmation prompt, type Y. To interact with your cache cluster, use telnet to connect to your cache node endpoint over port 6379. Replace the endpoint shown below with the endpoint of your cache node that you had noted earlier. You are now connected to the cache engine and can issue commands. In this example, you will add a data item to the cache and then get it immediately afterward. Finally, you'll disconnect from the cache node. You are now connected to the cache node and can run Redis commands.
How do I delete a cache cluster?
Deleting a cache cluster is easy. In fact, it is a best practice to delete clusters that you are no longer using, so you don't keep getting charged for them. To delete your cache cluster, in the AWS Management Console, locate the cache cluster in your list of cache clusters. On the Cache Clusters page, click the Delete link next to the cache cluster. In the Delete Cache Cluster dialog box, click Delete. The status changes to deleting in the cache clusters list. As soon as the cache cluster status changes to deleted, you stop incurring charges for that cache cluster.